Do you have continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
Hello and thanks for joining Corporate Governance Platform, proudly brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, a hub of governance professionals, and coming to you live from MITV in Lagos. I am your regular host, Tunde Odeyemi, and in today's episode, we want to look at the induction of directors and the continuous education of directors. And to lead in today's conversation is no other person but a distinguished fellow of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, Mrs. OLEKANMA EKELEME, FCIS. Mrs. EKELEME is a serial entrepreneur whose passion for providing creative solutions has birthed thriving businesses. She is a fellow of ICSAN, a strong advocate of corporate governance, and an IFC certified trainer on corporate governance. She is also a certified coach, speaker, teacher, and trainer with the John Maxwell team. She is passionate to help small and medium enterprise build replicable, seamless structures for businesses, sustainability and profitability, and help young people identify their purpose, inspire them to live in their purpose, and impact their world. As the Executive Director, Chief Operating Officer of Madil Associates Limited, she provides leadership, management, and vision necessary to ensure the company has proper operational controls, administrative and reporting procedures, and people system in place to effectively grow the organization to ensure financial strength and operating efficiency. As a John Maxwell team member involved in leadership and business training, she prepares training calendar and facilitates both in-house and scheduled training for individuals and organizations. Mrs. EKELEME is a mother, Jesus lover, and unstoppable woman. She is a limiting belief slayer, raising an army of super achievers. She is a writer who has authored and published 3 books, and above all, she strives to add values to others. Madam, you are welcome to Corporate Governance Platform.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you on today's program.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, we want to discuss the induction and the continuous education of directors. And this is where we invite the viewers to be part of the program. You can partake in this program by asking questions or sending comments only through text message. Send your question or comments to 080-2323-1287. I take it again, 080-2323-1287. Please, no phone call, only text message. And when you send your text message, kindly put your name on it. Yeah, we want to discuss, like I said, the induction of directors and, of course, the continuous education of directors. Let me start by asking this question. What does induction of directors really connote?
Well, as we know, induction of directors connotes an onboarding of the new directors to help them hit the ground running after they have been appointed as directors. It's a means of providing relevant and necessary information they require to be able to understand their roles. So that they will know the development in the company the rules, regulations, the guidance, the codes that guide the industry they are in.
Okay.
They will also be able to know the management and the responsibilities involved
Okay.
in their roles.
Okay. You said it's the onboarding of the directors as soon as they are appointed into
Yes.
that position. Okay, when we now talk about the continuous education of directors, what do we mean?
It means constant or periodic training, you know, not just for the new directors, but all directors. So this time there are changes evolving. There are so many trends we can't imagine. We see technology, different things coming up. We can see the AI, the artificial intelligence, the cyber security. You see codes springing up, regulations being changed here and there. And there are also new businesses, that new skills, new knowledges that these directors need to acquire. So they have to be trained continuously to be able to navigate the terrain and be the leader they ought to be.
Okay, are all these not supposed to have been done when they are doing the induction? Or let me put it this way. How does induction now different from the continuous education?
Well, induction is a one-off.
Okay.
When the person joins.
Okay.
And you know, as I said before, it's a kind of onboarding. It's a kind of sharing information related to the position or the roles of the directors. So, but the continuing education is something that is ongoing. Like I said, trends. I could remember in 2013 when IFRS that took over, that's International Financial Reporting Standards.
Standards, okay.
The directors had to be trained to understand that so that they will not query the reports and they will not get into trouble with the regulatory authorities. So it is a continuous training. It's something that has to be ongoing to be able to take care of the changes in the system.
In the system. All right. The Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance actually made provisions for this when it specified that directors needs to be engaged in periodic and relevant training in order to upskill their skill. Now, the question now is it mandatory for the directors to go for this continuous training? Is it something that if they don't go for it, they are not engaged in continuous training, relevant regulatory bodies we hold it against them?
Well, you know, if I understand what you're saying, that's principle 13 of the NCCG 2018 code.
Yes.
And I know that if I want to use a mantra as a leadership person,
Okay.
that leaders are learners. Leaders are learners. And so if you don't learn, you'll find out that you'll be relegated, the person will be relegated to the background. So it's, even if NCCG code did not specify they should be trained, there is that opportunity to be able to know where they are going and be able to lead others aright. That's why there is training. You know, when you serve as a director, the director needs periodic training because there is the dynamics of the business might have changed. The operating environment might have changed. And there, like I said before, there are emerging trends. And those emerging trends are like the cyber security, the AI, the VUCA. There's the future of work is really something that every director must understand.
Okay. Well, we really need to go on a break, but before I go on a break, I would like to ask this question. Still talking about the code.
Okay.
The code recommends that the directors, as soon as they are appointed, that the director's induction should be held immediately. Why do you think, some directors will be coming from one other company to another company. They already have this experience. They already know what is expected of them. So why did the code recommends that they should be trained immediately as they are appointed as directors?
I want to believe, number one, the place they are coming from, there's a different way those people operate. There's a divergence of operation, and the directors may not know it all. The industry may be different, and so the director has to understand the people he's working with, the way they do things, the regulation, and that is guiding the industry. So that's because if not, if I don't know how to steer a ship and you put me there to steer a ship, even though I know how to drive, I may miss it.
Okay. If I don't know how to steer a ship, even though I know how to drive, I may miss it. On that point, we'll quickly go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion on the induction of directors and the continuing education of directors. Please don't go away.
Do you have continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
You are welcome back. It's still Corporate Governance Platform, proudly brought to you by ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals. And we are discussing the importance of induction and continuous education of directors. And I see her with me here in the studio, the Mrs. EKELEME, doing justice to that particular topic. Now, before we went on break, we talked about the importance of this induction and why it is important for the directors, newly appointed directors, to be inducted immediately. Now, what are the likely consequences for the company if the induction ceremony or the induction exercise is not conducted as the right time, as at the right time they are supposed to conduct it?
The one thing, major consequence is poor performance. Sometimes, because I don't know how things work here, I may come in and remove things and everything will be messed up. So poor performance. Sometimes problem in communication, because I need to understand the communication chain. There may be break in the communication chain.
Okay.
Sometimes customers will be lost because the director may be using the knowledge he had, which may be obsolete to direct, and it may not go well with the customers, so they may lose customers. Sometimes it may get into debt of a company, because when a company constantly default and gets penalty, it may get to a point where the company may not be able to exist because they have exhausted their resources.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, what is the link between board evaluation and the development of appropriate training for the directors?
You know, board evaluation is like checking how did we fare? Where are we now? Where do we want to go? And where are we going? And did we do well? Did we not do well? So by the time their board evaluates the members and find out the gap, they'll be able to develop trainings that is relevant to the required skill that the board members need.
Okay. If you are just joining us, it's Corporate Governance Platform, and we are discussing the importance of induction and continuous education of directors. You can be part of the program by asking questions or making comments. Send your question or comments by text message to us, 080-2323-1287. I'll take the number again, 080-2323-1287. Now, we have talked about the relevance of induction and why training is important for directors. And we know probably some of these big companies will probably be doing this. Now, is this also relevant, or can it also add value to small companies?
I said yes, because those big companies started as small companies. And they have to grow through training themselves, acquiring skills, acquiring knowledge, and being able to, evaluate their systems, their strategies, their plans. And so for a small company, if they want to grow, they must start that process of induction and continuous training.
Okay, I have a text message here. This is from Idowu. It says the induction of the directors, who is to conduct it? Is it the other directors, members of the company, or people from outside?
It depends on the company. Some companies have in-house trainers.
Okay.
And so those people plan the trainers plan the induction program. But it is required that the chairman has to be there so that he can put through the new directors and help them to understand better how things go.
Okay, irrespective of who organizes or who conducts the induction, the chairman must be there.
Yes. But some companies bring outside trainers, like ICSAN does induction training for companies.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I want us to go back a little to the code. The NCCG code of 2018 provides that training programs should be at the company's expense, but should not be such that puts undue strain on the company's finances. What will be the guiding principle in attaining equilibrium between these two ends? They should do the training, but the training should not put the company on an undue stress. What should guide the company in achieving this goal?
One is relevance. What's the relevance of that training to the company's goal, objectives? Two is affordability. Can the company afford the training? Three is required skills or expertise. Can the training bring the required expertise needed to move the company forward? Those three things are key. But that code made it is like a springboard or a benchmark to cushion the effect of some directors wanting to go for overseas trips, whether the company has the money or not. And so they don't even mind whether it's relevant, whether it is required expertise, whether it's affordable. So the code has to put that to make sure that it can only be relevant expertise it can only be required, necessary, and it can only be affordable for the company.
Okay, talking about affordability, you talked about relevance, it must be necessary and it must be affordable. If it is affordable for the company to take induction programs outside the country, is it something within the practice of induction?
What?
Outside the location of that company, outside the country of that company to another country?
Well, that's a very tricky question, if I may say. But one thing I understand that during induction, you are meant to go through the location of the office. If you take the induction outside the country, how will you be able to go through the location of the office? Except that office has, that company has office outside the country. And after the induction, you are taking the directors to see the office outside the country. To me, that's my own opinion, but sincerely, yes.
In your own opinion, it should be done within the company, yes, so that the directors can assess the company better
and understand the workings,
the work environment. Okay, now let's go back to ICSAN.
Okay.
You said the other time that ICSAN can organize induction, even though ICSAN could be an external body, yes, to the company. Now, can ICSAN also organize a directors training, continuous directors training, plan the training, organize it, relevant directors training? Can ICSAN also do that?
Yes, that is one of the core how will I call it? The core work ICSAN do, because there are trainings both tailored towards the company need, and also there are general training that ICSAN does. So every year, every quarter, there is a training going on that ICSAN is organizing, not just for her members, but also to other companies and the directors.
Okay, so ICSAN can organize training for different companies,
yes,
because they have the expertise,
yes,
to do this. Okay, what is your advice for companies generally, both big and small companies, on the issue of induction and continuous training of their directors?
Wow, I said leaders are learners, and that's Brian Tracy talking. And I want to say that never neglect induction of directors and even of employees. Yes, even though we are talking of directors, even of employees, and never neglect the training, continuous training of the directors and employees. And I'll end on this quote. I would like to read it.
Okay.
Yes, the two quotes from John F. Kennedy said, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Then John C. Maxwell, who is an expert in leadership and who is the person we are tailoring our leadership training with he says, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So if a leader is not trained, how can he lead others? So that's why my advice is that they should continue to train themselves.
A leader is one who knows the way and shows the way.
Yes.
What if this leader is already an expert on its own? He has experience, varied experience, different sectors of the economy experience, and is coming to be a member of the board in a sector. Can it be self-sufficient to say that I have the expertise, I know everything, I don't need to go for training?
No, because the way I do things may not be the same way you do things. So company differs. There are strategies differ, their plans differ, their goals, objectives differ. So the director has to understand and align with the company's objective and goals.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Mrs. EKELEME. This is where we wrap it up on today's edition of Corporate Governance Platform. You have heard it from her. Even the director is an expert. He or she also needs to go for training. And induction of directors is pivotal for any organization that want to succeed. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we want to thank our viewers for being part of today's show. And the person that sent the text message, Ido, thank you very much for your text message. We'll wrap it up from here. I remain your host, Tunde Odeyemi. Keep spreading the gospel of corporate governance. Bye for now.
Do you have continuity or a succession plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.